Welcome to Be the Light 365. I'm Pastor Jake. We're in Matthew chapter 11, verses 7 through 15 for our Bible study. And Jesus was just talking to John's disciples. They had just left. And Jesus turned around the crowd and says, "What did you come out to see? Did you come out to see a reed shaking in the wind?" I love that verse. And the reason why is a reed shaking in the wind is somebody who is easily swayed. In other words, man sways them. He said, no, you didn't come out to see that. You didn't come out to see a person who was wearing great clothes and was living and in the king's courts. He said, what you did, you came out to see a prophet, a real prophet, someone who was humble and someone who wore like I think it was camel hair and had a belt, and all he did was eat wild honey and locusts. And it's just funny is because he said this to him because this all goes back to also Malachi. Malachi 4 talks about that John was going to come and pay the way for Christ. The reason why, because he was supposed to be coming in the spirit of Elijah. That's one thing that a lot of people think, well, if he's Elijah, he would have known. He came in the spirit of Elijah. In other words, the presence of Elijah. To come as Elijah did. You know, to be a person who was devoted to God. You know, he goes on and says, you know, and I like that because about the clothes and stuff is that sometimes people think that, okay, well, you're supposed to be dressed up and you're supposed to be looking like you're $1 million. That's not how it is. God doesn't really, actually, God doesn't care what you wear because he doesn't see nothing you're wearing. What he sees is your heart. That's the first thing. He sees your heart. He don't see what you're wearing. He don't care about your clothes. He don't care about what car you're driving. What he sees is you and your heart. And that's what he's talking about here is that you have to, he said, there's no one more greater on earth than John the Baptist, but he's the least in heaven. Why you think, well, why is that? It's because John was a great man and he did a lot of things, but there are some that are coming that will do greater than he. He said, you know, they will be out there with a heart for God and more. But he said John was great. He said John was that person. He was the spirit of Elijah. You know, but he said nobody's going to receive you. He said that's the thing. It's just like a lot of things with Christians. They don't receive the truth. They don't want the truth because the truth shines light on their sin. And that's what John was doing. That's why a lot of people hated him. So we need to be more like John. We need to have our heart with God. We need to be more and more with God, to come closer to God, to do what God needs us to do. We all have a purpose, and we need to share that purpose just like John and do right with God.